Well, look, now to a significant humanitarian issue. As part of Daniel Andrews' determination to blame others, he wants a meeting with the Morrison government to pause all international flights into Victoria. Currently, there's a cap on international arrivals to Australia of about 6,500 a week. I'm receiving correspondence, dreadful stuff, from Australians overseas who feel abandoned. These people are told to have a PCR test 72 hours before they board a flight. And as one mother said to me, quote, "What if one of us is positive or false positive? We can't get home. The police in Malaysia will be notified by the doctor and we can expect a knock on our door, and then what? We can't make the flight and we come stateless and put in a quarantine centre in Malaysia." The woman says, "I'm 73, my husband's 80. They've paid to come home, I might add, and the bookings, as I've said many times on this program, are cancelled." And that quote, "Whenever there's a ray of hope to get back to Australia, the Australian government introduces a new policy. Our visas have expired, as well as our travel and health insurance. At our age, this could be a death sentence." This is hideous stuff. Michael is on the line from London via Skype. He's an Australian passport holder with an hereditary blood disease. He's lost several body organs. He's diabetes and hypertension. Before coronavirus hit, he and his wife were on a 3-week cruise, could have been any of us, outside Miami, along with other passengers. After 1 week, they were dumped off the ship due to increasing COVID restrictions. All passengers on probably 20 cruise liners. They went straight to the airport and managed to get one of the few seats out of America to London. When he arrived in London, a doctor put him on a COVID shielding program, meaning he wasn't allowed outside. In April, Qantas cancelled their booked flights back to Australia. They still don't have a refund. And he and his wife have been locked up in a shielding program virtually ever since. Shopping, blood tests and medications come to the premises. They've been vaccinated in the last couple of weeks. So they then tried to get home. It's been horrific. Michael Harrold is on the line from London via Skype. Michael, thank you for your time. Firstly, how is your health?
Hi, Alan. I'm feeling much better at the moment because I've been locked up for a year, and luckily I've had the vaccine, so I'm feeling more optimistic about getting home.
So this is almost 12 months. 12 months. You tried to register in the last 2 weeks with DFAT for Australians stuck overseas, 2 of 40,000. It is an automated system. It's supposed to send you a link, but on receiving it, there was no active link. So am I right? You rang the embassy in London. You were told no help could be provided, that we're swamped over here and overloaded. 20,000 Australians registered in the UK. So you rang the emergency DFAT number 10 times. They told you to try another laptop, phone or email. You've done that, and the link doesn't work. So without registering, you've got no hope.
We've been trying to do that for over 2 weeks now. We can't get through to anybody. The local member's office has been trying to, and she hasn't been able to help us. So it's a situation where it looks like, reading the forums and my own experience, that there's very little assistance for Australians overseas to try and get home. The number that they quote of 40,000 is obviously incorrect. That's only the registered number, but there's probably 100,000 plus Australians trying to get home from all over the world. And there's price gouging on tickets, there's cancellations.
Yeah, see, on the price gouging, you've rung every single airline that flies to Australia. Qantas conspicuous by absence. The quotes have varied from £4,000 to £9,000, one flight per person. That's $7,000 to $15,000. Who the hell can afford that?
It's pretty outrageous, and it's just ridiculous. And if you get bumped off halfway through, I've read reports that they just charge you more to get back onto the flight again, so you're not bumped up. So
and then Singapore's closed to transit passengers. So you've got to get a plane that goes straight through. Now, as you said to me, you could buy numerous tickets on sites like Webjet or Skyscanner, but you say they've got no hope of going ahead and you wouldn't get your money back anyway. You're waiting for a Qantas refund from last April. So what is the future for people like you and your wife?
Well, the only future is to spend big Australian dollars to get home and go either first class or business class. That's the only way we can see of getting home. and we think we're going to have to.
The problem getting home is quarantine. Why couldn't we mobilise federal facilities, army bases, hospital navy ships for quarantine facilities? And isn't it the national government's responsibility to look after Australians overseas trying to get home?
I agree entirely. It's the Australian government's responsibility, and they've abandoned all the Australians overseas. They need to lift the caps, get whatever facilities available they can. If they can't organise it, call in the armed services. It's a national emergency. This many Australians stuck overseas.
Good on you. Well, look, I'm not too sure what I can do to help. We'll keep in touch. But I'll tell you what, Michael, none of us would walk in your shoes. But for those of you viewing, there are any number of Facebook groups detailing the desperate plight of Australians overseas, Australians who are stuck around the world. There's one site, Australians stuck in the UK. And there's another one I was looking at today, Australians stranded in the UK. And they're saying remove the cap. Michael, look, we'll keep in touch. To you and your wife, all the best. And to Bridget, who's written to me today from Malaysia. You can't believe this is Australia. What are your thoughts out there at home? Alan at skynews.com.au. And the text line, of course, is 0414 00 848.